fair, I have only published one children's picture book, but I do have dozens of manuscripts on my hard drive that have yet to be published. And technically, I have been writing picture books since the age of 7, so I can officially say that I have been in this industry for
5, 4, 3,
32 years. Welcome everyone to Dr. Daly's Hot Takes. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am a published children's book author as well as a children's literature scholar.
And today,
I am going to share with you some of my hot takes about being a creative writer in the industry of children's picture books. Make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss part 2 of this video, where I will be giving you my hot takes on the academic side of children's literature. Hot take number 1. Self-publishing limits your distribution reach. Of course, there are two sides to this, whether to self-publish or go through the traditional channels of publishing by publishing through a major publisher. On the one hand, self-publishing allows for you as the author to have complete control over the distribution of your books. You get your work out there. You get to sell your work anywhere and anyhow you see fit. You get to diversify this industry that is very slow to change.
However,
your self-published book will not be distributed to bookstores. Your self-published book will not be distributed to public libraries and school libraries. Your self-published book will not be considered for any of the most major awards in the children's book industry. Your self-published book is limited both domestically and internationally in its distribution. The distribution reach of your self-published book is limited to as far as you can reach. And if you are just at the beginning of your career as a children's book author, your reach is unfortunately limited. Tip: if you are thinking about writing a children's picture book, whether that be through self-publishing or perhaps through more traditional channels through a major publisher, consider expanding your reach now. Widening your audience will be of great benefit to you in the future. Hot take number 2. Being a children's book author is much more than simply writing a manuscript and getting it published. Unless you are a celebrity and your picture book is going to sell itself without much effort from you, know that the real work for the rest of us non-celebrities begins once the book is published. Take, for instance, my picture book, Mr. Okra Sells Fresh Fruits and Vegetables. It takes me maybe three and a half minutes to read Mr. Okra to a classroom full of students.
well, guess what?
The school has booked me for 30 minutes, so what am I going to do for the following 26 and a half minutes? Luckily for me, I really enjoy performing. And at the time that Mr. Okra had been published, I had been learning how to play the guitar and had also been learning how to write songs. I had also been studying folklore and storytelling at that time, so I was coming up with a lot of content for performances. That means I had a catalog of different kinds of performances I could do alongside reading Mr. Okra to a classroom full of students. Here's my tip. I recommend that before writing a picture book, have a vision for not only who you are as a writer, but also who you are as a performer. Hot take number 3. School visits are mandatory if you want your book to do well. Your biggest audience will be from school visits. Of course, there will be the occasion when a public library or a bookstore will invite you to come read during a story time. But nothing is like having an auditorium full of students ready to hear you read your picture book. And oftentimes, those visits allow for you to sell dozens upon dozens of copies of your book. In addition, depending on your contract, you are earning an honorarium as well as a profit on all of the books that you sell. If you have a full-time job that prevents you from being able to do school visits, consider the impact that is going to have on you as the author, as well as the impact on your book. Here's my tip. Prepare for those school visits in advance. Save your vacation and PTO time so once your book gets released, you can make a big impact during those first few months. Hot take number 4. Have some knowledge about the agent or the publisher before submitting your query letter. It is in your best interest to have some knowledge about the publisher or the agent before submitting your query letter to them. Know what kinds of topics they publish. Know their submission cycle. Know if what you are writing is a good fit for that publisher or that agent. It is possible that your query letter and manuscript are being rejected not because your work isn't good, but because you are not a good fit for that publisher or for that agent. So make sure that you are doing your research before submitting your work. Here's my tip. Find books that have a similar feel or a similar topic to the one that you are trying to get published. Find out who published it or who the agent was who sold that book. Now, this can backfire, especially if a publisher or agent has sold a book similar to yours. They may not be interested in publishing another similar book.
However,
finding a book that is similar to yours can help you narrow down the publisher and agent who might be interested in the kinds of stories you are wanting to tell. Hot take number 5. Your book will have a short shelf life. Of course, we have the classic books that will be on the bookstore shelves for the next 20 generations. But most of us are not Mo Willems or Margaret Wise Brown. If your book does not sell, it will be returned to the publisher. I remember that when Mr. Okra came out, I had learned that it would be on most bookstore shelves for about 18 months.
18 months.
That is less than the time it took me to get it published. Of course, depending on where you are, for instance, if you are in New Orleans, you will still be able to see Mr. Okra on the shelves despite it having been released 7 years ago. But that is because the book is about New Orleans. Unless your book is considered a classic or it is evergreen, which means that it will always have some sort of relevance, it will only be sold for a short period of time. And that time is at the discretion of the bookstore. Hence why author visits are so important. They keep your book relevant. Tip: consider ways to keep your book relevant. Understand how it fits in the industry as a whole. For instance, Mr. Okra is not only about a real person, Arthur Robinson. It is also about New Orleans, and it is about healthy eating, topics that will continue to draw readers. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below any tips you have about the industry and let me know your own hot takes. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.